Surah Al-Anfal. Subhanallah, one of the descriptions of the Quran is لا تنقضي عجائبه, that always you see something impressive in it, always. I was preparing the tafseer about the ayat that I read, and I noticed something, subhanallah, that usually in literature we study that, we focus on it. The positions of usually characters, what they call them. So in the Battle of Badr, of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger are above, all of that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is above and beyond all of His creatures. وَأَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. Nothing is compared to Him. But just the idea, the position of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala before the Battle of Badr, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the Muslims, Kuffar Quraysh, Malaika, hypocrites, and Shaitan. Just in 2 pages. Everyone his position. Keep them in your mind. I'm going to go over the ayah to see, subhanAllah, how everything is fitting together in a nice way. We know the details of the Ghazwat Badr took place in the 2nd year of Hijrah, 17th of Ramadan. Inshallah, later on we'll talk about it a little bit. But how it is introduced in Surah Al-Anfal. It is Surah number 10, Surah Al-Anfal. And the ayat start with the beginning of the juzr. The beginning of the juzr. وَعْلَمُوا أَنَّمَا غَنِمْتُمْ, talking about the ghanaim that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave to the Muslims. So to start, if somebody wants to follow along, that will be good, inshallah. So ayah 41, starting with ayah 41, Surah Al-Anfal. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling the believers first, the ghanaim, what you are going to take from the mushrikeen in the battlefield. And that was the law, that if an enemy is defeated, then whatever is left in the battlefield will be taken by the one that is winning. That was the mentality of the old days, and even up to now they apply it. It has another incident with the battle of Hunayn. Inshallah, in the future we'll talk about it. Whatever you take of the ghanaim, they belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And everything belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but the messenger is mentioned here, scholars say, for blessings and for his messenger. The fifth of that should be given to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to decide how to divide. Okay? In the old days, they don't have army that is registered, okay? So people will go without having a salary. Now everything is salarized, but in the old days, those who participate, they will win the ghanaim. But 1/5 of the ghanaim will go to Allah and His Messenger, Walid al-Qurba, the family of the Messenger ﷺ, and al-Masakin wa ibn Sabil, and the poor and somebody who is stuck, the wayfarer, what they call him. Surah Al-Anfal would be recited in our history before battles. Okay? In our history as Muslims, Surah Al-Anfal, it is Surah Al-Qital, one of the names is the Surah of fighting. It reminds the people to be obedient to Allah, that victory is from Allah, be firm, etc. As you will see. So Muslims in their history, before the battle, when they line up, they would send the reciters, Qari, to recite Surah Al-Anfal while Muslims are listening. And if the army is big, they would send different reciters to different corners to recite Surah Al-Anfal. Okay, here talking about ghanaim that belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger, and the fifth should be distributed by the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then the ayah, وَمَا أَنزَلْنَا عَلَى عَبْدِنَا. If you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you believe in Allah, you should follow this law, that 1/5 is the responsibility of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وَمَا أَنزَلْنَا عَلَى عَبْدِنَا يَوْمَ الْفُرْقَانِ. The day of Furqan, the day of separation. يوم التقى الجمعان, when the two powers, when the two hosts, when the two armies met. So why it is يوم الفرقان? Before Badr, why it is important? The Ghazwat Badr is very, very, very important in our history. Remember that Muslims were persecuted for 13 years in Mecca and 2 years in Medina. They were the weaker side. Ghazwat Badr was the turning point when Muslims were victorious over Mecca, and the leaders of Quraysh were killed. And those who went with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they went for a purpose to go and to take the caravan to be compensated for what they lost in Mecca. Then they missed the caravan. Abu Sufyan was smart. He went to the coastal. He changed the route of his way and went to the coastal area. So Muslims had now what to do. They heard the news that Quraysh is coming with a huge army. And Rasulullah ﷺ gave the option to the Muslims. We came for the caravan, now we hear the news that a huge army is coming. Would you like to continue or to go back? They were not ready. Usually they wear armors and take spears. They were not ready. The Battle of Badr, they were just, caravan has 50 people for protection, 50 people. So Muslims were 300, just grabbing their swords, which is a regular, easy, take. So they went outside, but the news came that you have a huge army. So none of the believers retreated. And all of them said, we are in with you, Rasulullah. Wherever you are going, we are with you. So they proved to Rasulullah ﷺ their iman at the spot for the first time, facing their enemies. Even the Ansar, their pledge was to protect Rasulullah ﷺ in Medina, but he's out in Medina. He's out in Medina. Will you hold to your pledge and bay'ah to Rasulullah? They said, yes, we are going. So this is why the Battle of Badr is very important in our history. The proof of Iman, none of them retreated. It was a surprise war. They were not expecting a huge enemy. And Quraysh, they were trained and respected people. Quraysh, it's a big army at the time. So they proved their Iman. Rasulullah ﷺ says, لعل الله اطلع على أهل بدر فقال افعلوا ما شئتم قد غفرت لكم. Perhaps Allah looked with His mercy at the people of Badr and He said, do whatever you want, people of Badr from the Muslim side, you are forgiven, already forgiven, people of Badr. Umar ibn Khattab, when he became a Khalifa, he said, all people of Badr who are still alive, you stay in Medina, for sure. I need your opinion. None of you should leave Medina without my permission. You stay in Medina. If I have an issue, I have to consult. You are the senators, you are the leaders, you are the senators, you stay here. So you'll find many Muslims, historians, they named them 313 people, so and so. All of the names, we know the names of the 300. Even the narrators of the hadith, when they narrate and they say, this is Badri, he is from the people of Badr. So the Battle of Badr is very extremely important for Muslims in our history. So come to the ayah. If you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and what was revealed to him when the two hosts came, يوم التقى الجمعان. إذا أنتم بالعدوة الدنيا, you were in the closer valley to Medina. وهم بالعدوة القصوى, and they are in the closer valley to Mecca. Okay, now talking about people, the characters. إذا أنتم بالعدوة الدنيا وهم بالعدوة القصوى والركب, and the caravan أسفل منكم, down there. So three groups. The caravan escaped. Muslims on this side and mushrikun on the other side. وَلَوْ تَوَاعَدْتُمْ لَاخْتَلَفْتُمْ فِي الْمِيعَادِ. If you had set an appointment, you would have missed each other's. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala arranged for that. وَلَكِنْ لِيَقْضِيَ اللَّهُ أَمْرًا كَانَ مَفْعُولًا. But Allah arranged that so something will be done and the qadr will be fulfilled. So Allah arranged for the battle. Allah made the caravan escape and Allah wants that clash to take place. It is enough for Quraysh to torture Muslims for 13 years and still continue trying to assassinate Rasulullah ﷺ, who would sleep under protection. When Rasulullah ﷺ arrived in Medina, the rumors reached them that Quraysh is going to send assassins to kill Rasulullah ﷺ. So he had security guards. He would not sleep without security guards in the first state of Medina. And the head of the security guards is Muhammad ibn Maslama. This is special commandos. Muhammad ibn Maslama. This is the head of the protection. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed an ayah later on, وَاللَّهُ يَعْصِمُكَ مِنَ النَّاسِ, and Allah will protect you. Then the Rasulullah dismissed all of those. So still the plots of Quraysh continue. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to put an end, and now instead of being defeated, now it is turning. وَلَكِنْ لِيَقْضِيَ اللَّهُ أَمْرًا كَانَ مَفْعُولًا لِيَهْلِكَ مَنْ هَلَكَ عَنْ بَيِّنَةٍ وَيَحْيَى مَنْ حَيَّ عَنْ بَيِّنَةٍ. Those who will be destroyed in the future in disbelief, it will be clear to them that this is disbelief. And if somebody will be surviving in Iman, it will be also clear to him that Allah supports His followers, Allah supports the believers. Let it be clear. The disbelievers here, with no help, Shaitan will leave them, and the believers, they will be victorious and Allah supporting them. Then what happened? The condition of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He saw in his dream the number of Quraysh, the army that is coming. Small. إِذْ يُرِيكَهُمُ اللَّهُ فِي مَنَامِكَ قَلِيلًا. So the number will be small, as you saw Muhammad in your sleep. And he communicated that to the companions. وَلَوْ أَرَاكَهُمْ كَثِيرًا. Had Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed you in your dream that the enemies are huge, لَفَشِلْتُمْ. That Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, some of the Muslims, perhaps you will despair or get scared or something. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed them small. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what is in the hearts. Then the next ayah, وَإِذْ يُرِيكُمُوهُمْ إِذِ الْتَقَيْتُمْ فِي أَعْيُنِكُمْ قَلِيلًا. When you saw them, Muslims, when you saw the enemies small in number. So this is how Allah encouraged the Muslims. One of the tactics that were the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did to the believers. When they saw their enemies, they were small. So they looked, if they were big in number, some fear will happen. And what else? وَإِذْ وَيُقَلِّلُكُمْ فِي أَعْيُنِهِمْ. And the Quraysh people looked at Muslims as a small number. What does that mean? They were more motivated to come. Oh, just a bunch of guys, Muhammad and Joseph guys. They want to come. Allah wants that clash to happen. Allah wants that clash. The leaders of Quraysh, all of them were gone, with the exception of Abu Sufyan, who was with the caravan. So Abu Jahl, Umayyah ibn Khalaf, Utbah ibn Rabi'ah, those who used to plot, the bad people of Quraysh, the seniors, the older generation, they were gone after the Battle of Uhud. And they were the most opposition side against Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Allah wanted and he planned for all of that to come. So encouraged Quraysh to come, just a few people. And for Muslims to encourage them, oh, they are just a few. You are a few, but also they are a few. So Muslims looked at them and they felt that they are just a few guys. That made the Muslims more courageous. Then in some narrations, in some of the they say, after the moment the battle started, Allah showed the disbelievers the opposite. When the battle started, Allah showed the disbelievers that Muslims are huge. They got scared. Muslims were not ready. They were not wearing armors. They would not have these long spears that can stab long. They were just carrying what an Arab would travel with. They were carrying like a sword, usually. Something very simple. They were not carrying. And two horses. Just two horses with them. And horses like tanks. They run very fast. And they have advantage when they are high and somebody who is on the ground. So Muslims were not ready for that. So what happened next? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed them something different. وَيُقَلِّلُكُمْ فِي أَعْيُنِهِمْ لِيَقْضِيَ اللَّهُ أَمْرًا كَانَ مَفْعُولًا. To fulfill something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decreed and fulfilled. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, O believers, إِذَا لَقِيتُمْ فِئَةً فَاثْبُتُوا. If you meet your enemy, be firm. وَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ كَثِيرًا. And mention Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a lot if you want to be fulfilled. Remember, the Surah Al-Anfal will be recited in our history again and again and again, right? So this is one of the strong phrases for Muslims. If you meet your enemies, be firm. And remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you'll be successful. وَأَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ. And obey Allah and His Messenger. So instructions to the Muslim army. Obey Allah and His Messenger. And what else after Tawheed of Allah? What you need? The unity of Muslims, right? وَلَا تَنَازَعُوا فَتَفْشَلُوا وَتَذْهَبَ رِيحُكُمْ. And do not dispute, do not argue, do not be divided. So you will be divided and you will be weakened. Your strength will go away. Unfortunately. So strength is a blessing. Strength is a blessing. You have to agree, finally. In your house, you have to overlook some small things. In your masjid, you have to look over certain things. With your neighbor, with your Muslim community, if you are a leader of a state or a community, you have to compromise tiny things for the benefit of the bigger thing, which is the unity of Muslims. It doesn't work that you are picky over everything. You'll destroy your family. You'll destroy your community. You'll destroy your state. It doesn't work. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا تَنَازَعُوا. Avoid all of that things that will make you divided. Tawheed of Allah, one God and one nation. If Muslims are divided, they will be weak. Salah ad-Din al-Ayyubi spent years and years just united Muslims surrounding Palestine. Surrounding Palestine. They were divided Muslims. This is how the Crusaders came and they took over Palestine. When Muslims, they believe in Allah, but shaky a little bit and so on. Then number two, they were divided. So look at the ayah. Obey Allah and His Messenger. وَلَا تَنَازَعُوا. Don't divide it. Don't be dispute. So you'll be weakened and your strength will go away. وَاصْبِرُوا. وَاصْبِرُوا, and be patient. In battle, you need patience. إِنَّ اللَّهَ مَعَ الصَّابِرِينَ. وَلَا تَكُونُوا. So this is the instructions to the believers and what happened to the believers. Now, let us look at the mushrikun. O believers, don't be like وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ خَرَجُوا مِنْ دِيَارِهِمْ بَطَرًا وَرِئَاءَ النَّاسِ وَيَصُدُّونَ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. Don't be like those who came out of their dwellings to fight you, Quraysh, with arrogance, with showing off, and they ban people. The purpose is to ban people from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. After Abu Sufyan escaped with the caravan, he sent a messenger to Quraysh, to Abu Jahl, telling Abu Jahl that all is safe, we are safe, no need for the fight, go back. Will Abu Jahl accept that? He's the pharaoh of this ummah. Will he accept that? He said, no, by Allah, this will not happen. We have to go to Badr. We are going to win, slaughter camels, drink alcohol, and our girls and singers will be singing for us. So Arabs will continue to fear and respect us. This is what Abu Jahl said. All of that will happen. And the opposite happened. They were slaughtered. And instead of having, in Arabic, instead of saying the death, we say he drank the cup of death. This is expression in Arabic. So they drank the cup of death, not wine. And instead of singing, the ladies of Mecca were crying and wailing after the death of Quraysh. This is what happened. So he came out with all of that arrogance. Now we're going to crush them. We're going to celebrate. We're going to have fun. And no, Muhammad will be weakened and will be strong and all of that. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells the Muslims to be humble. And even don't be proud even with your army. Muslims were defeated at the time of the Messenger in the Battle of Hunayn in the beginning because they thought that they are big. So be humble. Don't be like the disbelievers coming, entourage, and we want to do that and we want to do that. Be humble before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and your cause and your cause and aim is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what happened after that? Allah is telling us in the last moment before the fighting, the disbelievers and shaitan, another character now, the shaitan. What is the position of shaitan? وَإِذْ زَيَّنَ لَهُمُ الشَّيْطَانُ أَعْمَالَهُم. Shaitan provoked them, beautified for them their deeds. They thought that they were correct. Just before the battle of Badr, one of the funniest situations, Abu Jahl, he was a wise person in worldly affairs. He was a wise person. And he was really a good leader. Abu Jahl, materialistically speaking, he was good. But not seeing the truth makes you useless, without knowing the truth. Abu Jahl, after the news came that the caravan escaped, some people said, why are we going to fight? Our cousins, Muhammad and Abu Bakr, they are our cousins, Let us go. And the father of Hind bint Utbah, the father of Hind bint Utbah, the wife of Abu Sufyan, he was one of the wisest people. And he was riding on a red camel. He wanted to discourage Qurayshi people to go back. Rasulullah ﷺ before the battle said, if there is something good in the other side, it will be with that one who's riding the red camel. He wanted them to go back. But Abu Jahl, he has his own tactics. Immediately, there was a non-Muslim who was killed a few months ago by Muslims. There was a small clash, and one of the non-Muslims, was killed. So Abu Jahl immediately he went to his family, and he told them, "Come, you heard what Utbah is saying? Utbah is saying, let us go back. Do you want us, to go back, and the revenge of your brother and your relative will not be taken care of?" They say, "No, of course we have to take revenge of Muhammad and his people." He said, "You have to say it out loud. He has his own tactics. Abu Jahl has his own tactics. Then they started saying, oh, we have to go, we have to fight, we have to fight. He knows how to lobby. Abu Jahl, he knows how to lobby. So Utbah saying, let us not go on. Some people saying, yeah, they are all relatives. No need, the caravan is escaped. Then he provokes them, Abu Jahl. What else? He went to Utbah. He said, Utbah, now in front of people. Another tactic now, in front of people. He said, Utbah, it seems that you are scared when you saw your son in the camp of Muhammad, his son Abu Hudayfa, one of the reciters of the Quran, Abu Hudayfa, his son. He said, you saw your son in the camp of Muhammad, you have some pity for your son, right? You are scared. And Utbah, now, these Arabs and in front of people, is not going to accuse him of being a coward, right? And showing like mercy to Muhammad because of his son. He said, no, you will see tomorrow who will be fighting. And he was the first one to be killed in the battle when he came for the duel. Utbah ibn Rabi'ah. So Abu Jahl managed to flip everything and change everything. And the hope that there might be some hope that Quraysh would retreat did not work. Shaitan was there, provoking. يوسوس في صدور الناس. So Shaitan made them look like good, and what they are going to do good. Another tactic of Abu Jahl, he stood up just before the battle, and he said, oh Allah, in front of everyone now, the two armies, destroy the one who brought all of this mess to us. Destroy the one who severed the blood relation. It's destroy the one who is destroying Quraysh, accusing Muhammad of dividing Quraysh, cutting the relation between parents and children and parents and cousins. So he thinks that he is on the right side, and he's using it, oh Allah, destroy the one who is bad, the one who is destroying Quraysh. And he was destroyed because he was destroying Quraysh, and he was the bad guy. So he was making dua against himself. But it was for show, for media, in front of people. He said that dua. He came out in the front, like we are on the right side. Oh Allah, destroy them. They are the bad guys. They divided us. They did that, and he's making dua. So the shaitan now, the character of shaitan. وَزَيَّنَ لَهُمْ الشَّيْطَانُ أَعْمَالَهُمْ وَقَالَ لَا غَالِبَ لَكُمُ الْيَوْمِ. He convinced them, and he talked to them directly. He came in the image. Scholars say he came in the image of Suraqa ibn Malik. Suraqa ibn Malik was one of the Arab leaders, and he came to them, convincing them that they are going to win. He told them, don't worry, you will be winning. They told him, but we have some troubles, Quraysh, of some clans of Kinana. So if we are going to meet Muhammad, Kinana and some other tribes, they will attack us from behind. Suraqa ibn Malik, he claimed to be he took the image of the leader of Kinana. He said, don't worry, I will protect you from anyone. I guarantee that no one will attack Mecca in your absence. وَإِنِّي جَارٌ لَكُمْ. I guarantee that. Encouraging, don't worry about anything, just go. It's easy win, easy battle, just go. Don't worry about Kinana, about that. So Shaitan himself came in the battle of Badr, and he took the image of Suraqa ibn Malik. In some narrations, Abdullah ibn Abbas says, I saw him. Suraqa ibn Malik. We'll see what happened to Shaitan. Can take the image, according to some scholars. This is one of the evidence that he can take the image as a creature. He can take the image of other creatures. Okay? And Jibreel can take the image of a human being. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Allah is above and beyond all of that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not in our realm. He is above and beyond us subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what happened to Quraysh and Suraqa ibn Malik? He saw Jibreel. He saw Jibreel coming with the Malaika. When he saw Jibreel, remember that Malaika and Shayateen in other realm, they can see things that we cannot see, right? إِنَّهُ يَرَاكُمْ هُوَ قَبِيلٌ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا تَرَوْنَهُمْ. He sees you and his children, but you cannot see them. When he saw Jibreel, he retreated and he ran away. فلما وإني جار لكم فلما تراءت الفئتان, when the two hosts were close, نكص على عقبيه, he retreated and he ran away. وقال إني أرى ما لا ترون, he said, I saw that which you don't see. And they called him, Suraqa, where are you going? He said, I see things that you don't see, and he ran away. Suraqa, all of the promise of Shaitan is false. Al-Shaitan al-Rajim. What does it mean, Shaitan al-Rajim? Rajim, the one who retreats, the one who escapes. When you mention the name of Allah, he escapes. When there is something serious, he escapes. When there are malaika, he escapes. This is Rajim, Shaitan al-Rajim. Okay, so he ran away. Khannas, the meaning of Khannas, Shaitan Khannas. The one who runs away and escapes. Rajim, the outcasted, that scares. So he ran away. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that the malaika, of course they came, and the ayat conclude with the victory. We know that malaika came, 5,000 in Surah Al-Anfal, 5,000 in Surah Al-Imran, that 5,000 came. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala conclude this beautiful verse and he says subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَلَوْ تَرَى إِذْ يَتَوَفَّى الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا الْمَلَائِكَةِ. You did not see the malaika doing horrible things to the disbelievers, taking their souls. يَضْرِبُونَ وُجُوهَهُمْ وَأَدْبَارَهُم, hitting their faces and their backs, either physically or metaphorically. They were defeated. وَذُوقُوا عَذَابَ الْحَرِيقِ. You will be in the hellfire. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّ اللَّهَ لَمْ يَكُنْ مُغَيِّرًا كَدَأْبِ آلِ فِرْعَوْنَ وَالَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ. Similar to what happened to Fir'aun and those who were before him. Quraysh was defeated and the leaders were killed and they were destroyed. Similar to what happened to Fir'aun and people before them when they disbelieved in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah punished them and Allah is qawi, shadid al-iqab. He is strong subhanahu wa ta'ala and he shadid al-iqab. His punishment is severe. The next ayah that I did not recite, ذلك بأن الله لم يكن مغيرا نعمة أنعمها على قوم حتى يغيروا ما بأنفسهم. Allah will not change the ni'mah that he gives to people until they change. Quraysh, in Surah Quraysh, لإلاف قريش, Allah أطعمهم من جوع, he fed them and he secured them. They had the best blessing in Arabia. Now what happened? Why things changed? Why now they are scared from Muhammad and they were killed? Because they changed. Because they changed. The truth came to them and they changed to become worse, and instead of be guided, they were destroyed. So this is kind of a summary or a scene that is displayed in the Quran for us about the battle of Badr. Another description is mentioned briefly in Surah Al-Imran, but more about the battle of Uhud in Surah Al-Imran. So Surah Al-Imran focuses on the battle of Uhud, and Surah Badr focuses, Surah Al-Anfal focuses on the battle of Badr. Another scene that will come later on, it is about the Ghanaim, but inshallah we'll talk about it at another time. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Sorry, not taking a long time, but very beautiful ayah. Allah subhanahu to summarize, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His messenger, what he saw in his dream, the believers, what they saw, and Quraysh, why they came, their position, the Malaika, Shaitan, all of these are mentioned just in 2 pages. Very beautiful, presented. All of that to the believers. And that continued to be always read in the battle, before the battles, Muslims were. Oh, I forget, last thing, المنافقون. إذ يقول المنافقون والذين في قلوبهم مرض. The munafiqun, the position of the munafiqun, when they heard the news that Muhammad is going to fight Quraysh with just that small number of people, إذ يقول المنافقون والذين في قلوبهم مرض, and those who have sickness in their hearts. Sickness not meaning heart diseases, it is faith disease in their heart. غَرَّ هَؤُلَاءِ دِينُهُم. They were deceived by their deen. They put themselves in troubles. You see the phrase? You hear it, right? They put themselves in troubles. Somebody's making da'wah, he put himself in a trouble. He was deceived by his, faith or by his, tactic or something like that. So this is the position of the hypocrites also during the battle of Uhud. All of that is just 2 pages. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد.